Octabox loop, Snoot on the background, white fill for the shadows. All right, so in this setup, my main light is a 3-foot Octabox, and I have it placed in the loop lighting position. I want to make this image a little bit more dramatic, so instead of having it centered for paramount, I moved it off to the side to create that little loop shadow by the nose. Then I've added a second light, and the second light is actually to illuminate the background, to give her a little bit of separation. So I've placed a piece of cinefoil wrapped around the end of the strobe, and I've closed the hole, the opening at the end of the cinefoil, so that I have a little bit of a tighter glow of illumination behind her. So that will separate her out from the background. And then, finally, I've controlled the shadows by adding a white reflector to the shadow side of the face. This is just to bring back a little bit of detail to the shadows so it isn't quite as heavy and quite as dramatic. So I'm going to take a shot, show you what it looks like, and then build it in piece by piece to tell you what you should be watching for. All right, perfect. All right, perfect. All right, so I'm going to turn off that background light, move out the reflector, build it in so you can see what we're working with. All right, so here is just that main light in loop position. So it's a very dark and dramatic picture, and I still like it. And I have that little shadow by her nose. Keep in mind, if she moves her head or moves her body, it'll change the pattern of the light on her face. So for my second light, let's go back here, turn on the Snoot, the homemade Snoot that I've created with cinefoil. And then I'm going to place that so it's behind her head. Keep in mind that I can turn up the power, I can change the size of the opening to change the spread of the highlight on the background, or I can raise it up, so I can modify this so the glow behind her is exactly where I need it to be. So now, taking a look, I like how that looks, but perhaps I don't want the shadows to be quite so dark. That's where I bring in my white reflector. The further back it is, the more subtle that fill is going to be. So it'll be just a little bit of detail to the shadows, and then if I bring it closer, it'll fill in the shadows even more. Great. So for this setup, one Octabox or soft light source creating loop light, a second light on the background but narrowing the beam, this case using cinefoil for a little bit of glow, and then a reflector to control the amount of light in the shadows.